Hello, this is Todd Luck, and it's the Return of the King of Conan comics. This is a review of the Savage Sword of Conan #7 from Titan Comics that features a new story by Roy Thomas. This is out right now. This came out last week, and this is available at your local comic retailers. It's also available on Kindle and will eventually come out in trade paperback. Savage Sword is one of two ongoing series that Titan Comics puts out of Conan. The other series is the monthly color series, Conan the Barbarian. Savage Sword right here is a bi-monthly 64-page black and white magazine. The main cover is by Alex Horley, and it is a little on the dark side, but it is gorgeous. I can absolutely make out everything going on. There's enough contrast to see all the wonderful detail. He has done a great job illustrating everything here. I love the animals in this shot. It's moody, it's atmospheric. It's just really cool looking stuff here. The composition is also excellent. All of Horley's covers for Titan Comics have been excellent, and that is probably why he has been doing them for the last few issues on Savage Sword and has apparently become the regular cover artist for this magazine. In true Savage Sword fashion, they seem to be figuring it out as they go along. And speaking of a man who did figure it out as he went along, Roy Thomas, the legend. He is 84 years old, and after a legendary career, he is still putting out comics. And he has, of course, done so many superhero comics. His stuff is everywhere. A couple months ago, I reviewed a Marvel calendar from 1975 that was re-released for this year. It has a Barry Windsor-Smith piece of Conan in it, and Roy wrote the darn thing. He actually literally wrote jokes and trivia for almost every day on the calendar. But in my opinion, Roy's finest works are oftentimes when he brings characters from novels and short stories into comic book form, with Conan and Tarzan at Marvel and Dracula at Topps. And at 84 years old, he is still doing that. He is currently doing the online comic strips for EdgarRiceBurroughs.com. They have a subscription service, and he does an adaptation of Tarzan of the Apes, which also included a fantastic masterpiece adaptation of Jungle Tales of Tarzan. There's another strip that he writes that adapts the John Carter of Mars novels. They're currently on this second novel, Gods of Mars. And there's even a third strip that he does called The New Adventures of Tarzan, where he tells completely original stories that he creates, and it's really cool stuff. And it's just 3 strips out of a whole bunch that you can get for only, I think it's like $22 a year on EdgarRiceBurroughs.com. And by the way, there are hardcover collections available that cover the beginning of his Tarzan of the Apes strip and also the first couple stories in his New Adventures of Tarzan strip. And you can check out my reviews of both of those. They are definitely worth hunting down. And so, in this issue of Savage Sword, the man who brought Conan to comics, who changed pop culture forever, writing Conan the Barbarian at Marvel Comics, returns for a 48-page epic. Now, Titan's Conan comics have been mature readers, and so that means that they do have some bare female nipples and some higher violence in there. And Roy does integrate that into his story, but this is still Roy doing what Roy does best. He actually loosely adapts Rudyard Kipling's Mark of the Beast into a Conan story, and it is Roy Thomas at his best. And it is wonderful. It is a true epic that is absolutely captured in a very satisfying way in 48 pages. It has action, it has comedy, it has tragedy. It's just a really good, solid story. And I don't want to give anything away because I want you to experience this for yourself. But I will say I do love the fact that it begins someplace completely different than where it ends up. It's really wonderful twists and turns. And the cover is absolutely reflective of what's inside. And so, yes, you will see some animals in this story. And it will all be drawn expertly by Robert de la Torre, who, yes, it is unavoidable. His artwork does look a whole lot like John Buscema, and it is surreal to see a artist who looks that much like Roy Thomas's old collaborator on Conan doing a story in 2025, but it is so appropriate. It does get a little sketchy at times, and yeah, it can be a little bit challenging drawing all those different animals overlapping in some of the panels, but I think De La Torre does it about as well as anyone could. And then after all that excitement, for some reason, we get a 2-page interview with a developer about downloadable DLC for a Mortal Kombat game. They have Schwarzenegger Conan. So if that's your idea of a good time, you have 2 pages of that. But then it ends with a 10-page treat. Patch Searcher does the 12th labor of Breckinridge Elkins with exquisite artwork by Juan Alberto Hernandez. This is a Robert E. Howard character who is kind of this backwoods man, and it's lighter, more humorous kind of stories, and it is wonderful. I have never heard of this character before, but after reading this story, I love him to death. This story is epic, but perfectly contained within that 10 pages that it has. And I love the fact that it's lighter. I love the fact that it's kind of making fun of Robert E. Howard's tropes. You know, he fights some really serious, horrible supernatural stuff, but it's done in a humorous way. It really reminds me of some of the lighter Hellboy stories. No, actually, what it really reminds me of is when Mike Mignola did a one-shot called The Amazing Screw-On Head that actually made fun of his tropes and Hellboy stories. And that's exactly what this feels like. This feels like the Robert E. Howard equivalent of The Amazing Screw-On Head. This is the Robert E. Howard comic I never knew I needed. And no, of course, nothing in life is perfect. There's a few panels here and there that had some streaking in the printing. And yes, I wish the cover stock was a little bit thicker, but printing issues and the cover stock being too thin are pretty much my complaints about most modern comics I review. What I will say is the content here is king, and oh my God, this is a great magazine. This magazine has become exactly what it needed to be. Savage Sword of Conan comes highly, highly recommended. And so that's all my thoughts on this issue. And so next issue's cover is on the back. It looks very, very cool. Another Horley cover. And so this is probably my final review of Savage Sword of Conan right now, because again, as I've said in previous videos, I feel like this magazine has proven itself that it's going to be good on a regular basis. And I just wanted to do one more review just so I could talk about Roy Thomas. My next Titan Comics review will be Solomon Kane, the 4-issue miniseries that is scheduled to begin on March 24th. It'll be by Patch Searcher, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. All right, that's it. Like and subscribe for more videos. And until next time, see ya.